Video interviews are a really popular way of recruiting for many companies today because whether it's the first stage of the job interview process or a company is looking to hire candidates abroad, it can be a really cost-effective way to meet potential candidates before actually inviting them to a face-to-face job interview. So in your current job search, you may find yourself having to do a job interview via something like Skype. And if this is the case, here's a few tips to help you hopefully really impress the employer. One of the most important things to do before you sit down and have a video job interview is to print out a copy of your CV, because no matter how well you know it, the employer is no doubt going to be asking you during your video chat about your previous work experience and your expertise and what makes you the right candidate for the job. And it's going to be really embarrassing if you fumble and you can't remember the content on your CV, and you won't be able to leave your laptop because obviously you'll be sat in front of the employer. So really important to familiarise yourself with your CV before the job interview and ensure you have a copy printed out in front of you to refer to. Now, although this isn't a face-to-face job interview, it still is going to be the first impression the employer gets of you. And as it's a video interview, it's very likely they'll be able to see what you're wearing during the interview. So it's really important to dress smartly, dress appropriately, because not only will it make you look more professional, but it will help you to get in the job interview state of mind. Because if you are doing a video interview, it's likely you're going to be sat in your living room or somewhere that you don't associate with work. So dressing for a job interview will make you feel more professional and will make you feel more prepared for the interview too. Now, an employer will find it really frustrating if they schedule in a time and date to do a job interview with you and they make the call and it rings through and you don't pick up. They'll find it really frustrating because obviously it's a waste of their time. They're going to have to reschedule it, and it also looks like you're not that prepared and not that interested in the job. So once you've picked a date and time for the interview, ensure you stick to it and make sure you're in front of your laptop ready to go at least 10 minutes before the interview is scheduled. Now, there's no point in trying to do a video job interview somewhere that's really loud and somewhere that you can't concentrate or hear what the employer's asking you. So if you take your laptop to something like a coffee shop on a Monday afternoon, it's going to be really hard to concentrate and to make the best impression possible. So instead, pick somewhere that's really light so that the employer can see you via the video conversation. And pick somewhere that's quiet too, that you can concentrate and take in everything they're asking you and that you can hear all of their questions thoroughly. Now, just like in a face-to-face job interview, it's really important that you take your time to answer the questions appropriately. So during a video conversation, it can be a bit awkward looking down a camera lens and trying to visualize the employer sat in front of you, and that can make you rush things like speak very quickly or answer their questions very quickly without thinking. But instead, just make sure that you take your time to answer everything properly, that you think through what they've asked you, and if you're really worried about it, just let the employer, you're going to take a few seconds to think about the question they've posed, because this is the first impression you've got to make. It's got to be a good one to get through to the next stage of the interview. Just like having your CV printed out in front of you, it's really crucial that you have details of the job advert in front of you too, because the employer is going to be asking you a lot of questions about the job role and obviously how you can fulfill it and what you can bring to their organisation. And if you don't have the job advert in front of you, and if you haven't prepared and you don't know what they're looking for, what skills they want and what responsibilities are required, then it's going to be really hard to answer those questions to impress the employer. So just make sure you look through the job advert before the interview to make sure you're giving yourself the best possible chance of showing the employer that you're the right candidate for the role.